Many times in the life with a man and woman an age we marry on may not her may be attracted to drugs by source systems and harmful to her health. This health that the cause use very serious problems, sometimes irreparable, taking of the aforementioned note and I think about a little better not only are drugs but also money, alcohol and others. But good to live that point with all the drugs and the adolescent life without machinery or rational thing for type in for time in thing we fall in the huge void in the which some live and many no longer. We know that here are several variants of the because some stars in the world of drugs could put millions example here but of the thing for sure in the most common thing is that his impact of the age adolescence he can bet when 15 and 13 years for not specific thing will the become domination of the induction to the this hold of perdition. And here I am going to tell you some of the stories of a friend fall through his life I have run into, but they be careful because there is sometimes behind all this tale wild surprise. Carolina is a girl who has spent all the childhood watching her father trade drugs and alcohol because he was hawking and vice. From the early age signs she has the of the conscience, she remembered the problems and traumas she left from a very young age. At first, her mom, her two little brother, and she were very afraid of their father. Since when he took drugs, to say how a person changed dramatically from a loving and caring father to a violent person and who much to fear for years the terror filled by the love of the father wondered we will teach his hand will it ever change dramatically from a loving lovers of the father wonder we will teach him out. Will it ever change? That was causing many questions from Carolina from a very young age that she not how to solve herself and the mother and relative did not say anything to her make her not take importance because I believe it that if they ignored it I could be that she did nothing. She did not think about it so much, but unfortunately, in the mind of the child, TC traumas are reflection in adolescence. Since after age 14, Carolina meeting with some friends and acquaintances. Among that small group, one of them take out a small bag with marijuana and she with her memories from before offers to one of the acquaintances. She returns back. She's scared and says no, I will never in my life put that into my body, which she remembered with a love of the person since her father became more than 2 years ago clean and recovered from that chapter in his life that made it he her daughter 3 years and the cause to avoid the step that his father once took. But things did not stop there. When growing up, a teenager believed that life is difficult and things are always against him and many times and exaggerated the situation in which they framed themselves and he that his was happening to Carolina that having knowing to work knowing her life, knowing her outside again among all the problems and acquaintance of her stone highlight addicted and dangerous drugs for the health and not only that but also very few people are known to have come out of it. But when 15 and 16 is when the situation is presented to Carolina, sometimes she's addressed and believes she is doing well to avoid her problems and that he's when I definitely know why that did it passes through her mind that moment in which she decides to change her life even if for 2 words she will not realizing into enormous abyss that she would later have to do get out of in little by little. With studying and the time she used the bad resources to get off her reality. As time ago by she becomes more and more addicted, very hidden from the eyes of the superiors and parents. This makes her become unexpected every time and lying and dying and going on its side. Every time she is doing she is take her full 2 more years in until she reaches the beginning of the third years of high school and the time she was consumer and she knew what she was doing but not so often was the use that her it seemed like a day when realized by not being able to spend more than a week without satisfying the need. He begins to feel pressure a little by little. He begins to get off the control. Chair begins what will be an inevitable nocive. Has his grades dropped at school that led to her not paying attention and neglecting herself. Hence, she was expelled from school for having 10 a kid of grades and bad behavior in a moment of mental collapse and need money to keep buying more than what a little bit by little it was destroying her life, but she did not feeling it. Why from here onwards came the I feel better, came I feel great when I get high, I'm better person when I get high. The drugs makes me feel better, which for a person recessional knows that science he say want the ending on the wrong path and his family no longer ever knows to trim his father already with his whole experience of events from before. His mother will have the intention of helping and his little brother knowing affection trying to overcome the problem situation, but it reaches a point wherever it can be done until let her do whatever she wants. That's whether she gets a job as waitress at a taco stand next to her house which she spells and the money she manages to get out of her work days invades and alcohol with the grown people damaged by the brain who are on the same trip and who we when they wake or they stay alive no longer know what to do the situation that Carolina and she's getting worse and worse as is the only thing she was in her head was a spiral of drug and alcohol began to suffer an addiction to the voice that she was creating. It is that she begins to present an excessive weight loss, not waiting to eat, not being able to sleep, began active and innately while a day and causing the repulsion of the very everyone around her and the that does not relation to vice. As complementary blended is the has been for half a years that she followed this rhythm of life but is still in the world she does not she is not able to understand by self that what she started to do is too bad and that she need immediately help. Innately on die her father, a man who had already suffered from TC problems before and who needs his daughter to be was we talks to his whole family and present teams with a proper proposal which he sees that in less than a year after take care in out his daughter may be better off perhaps taking her to an annex, placing her in the place where she reconsiders and leaves the vice or simply takes helping her very day so that she feels the support and so she can get ahead. While they were thinking about how they were going to carry out the process one day, Carolina, delving deeper into the dangerous world now heave of people who say drugs will most likely commit major crimes and they are wanted by the law before their father was going to mess with him. They take his to a rehabilitation center for people with addictions and wait a few months for the expert to do their work as no obvious reaction prevails and the resist, but it's too late because soon she will realize that what they are doing is for healthy. Here will begin and the most important, her life spent no more than 6 months when she has been cleaning and following a detoxification process that is when she returned to she's her parents and her family and feels very caused because in her mind and only remembers fraction on events is not able to remember very well what happened in two years and that it where his father enters very strictly and explains that one point in his life he was weak and preferring to get in the drugs and when he wants to go out the south 10 is what difficult. He wondered did I spend so much time on my life on this I realized that we missed many good things that could even happen to him until whenever those memories come back to him. We will say he had never entered that world because until he lost the nose that he will never recover in my life until he holds 10 you doctor forgives you because you know that in some way or another that had to do with the moment of making her decision for Halloween. Decision to follow 2 steps. The body state to cry and hew each of the asking time no one is going to fall back into a war and after everything that has already happened they will not that the story respect itself because it's something that does a lot of damage not only on the stiff but as much as the people close to us. Choose to make the decision to stay a few more months in the health center to ensure the health stability. After some time, her family will visit her, then they support and her become back and very soon, about 3 more months ago, and that is when she leaves and begins to wake up everything that she's left behind. So that happened of 2 years. She finishes high school, college begins of her life completely changed her life, helped her in the process and she tries to overcome more life day because she wants to stop that there is not immediately graded that oneself to get where you want and whatever happens you know that you will never make that mistake again. This is not only a story of recovering of overcoming, this is a hope of whatever rests if they are in bad steps if their life is the concert and improved in life. We all make mistakes, we don't know to fall, we suffer, we cry, but the most important thing about this is to get up whatever the problem, having a good attitude, a